Hello everyone, welcome back. It's your favorite political economic commentator, Boss. Today, we're going to rip apart, critically analyze another textbook example of institutional dysfunction, courtesy of our dear friends at the European Central Bank. Yes, folks, the ECB, as always, is giving us that backstage pass to the high drama of monetary policy. And trust me, this drama makes TV look tame. Today's theme: fragmentation, indecision, confusion, recipe for a disaster, or just a European recession on steroids. And remember, this is the elite team that's supposed to keep inflation low while ensuring economic prosperity. No problem, right? So why does it feel like a comedy of errors? Only it's not funny because it's our money and livelihoods at stake. Let's dig into it. You see, the ECB's officials have done what they usually do best: disagree. The leadership at the ECB can't seem to decide if they are fighting inflation, holding back growth, or just playing live-action Monopoly with Europe's future. You'd think they have a clear plan, but instead, we get two camps haggling like politicians at a never-ending budget meeting. Let's take a look at the incoming data. Oh yes, interest rates. How many times have we been told the ECB needs to keep rates high to tame inflation? It's their favorite hammer for every economic headache. The key deposit rate now stands at 3.25%, after 3 rate cuts this year. Yay, they're finally listening to reality, but it still feels like too little too late. And even that decision didn't come without enough internal drama to make a soap opera screenwriter jealous. Some are itching to take an axe to those rates to support the struggling economy, while hawks like Mr. Joachim Nagel from Germany, thank you as always for your restraint, still want to make sure we don't declare victory over price pressures too soon. It's a noble stance: make sure we crash the economy comprehensively before easing up a little, right? And isn't that what these central banks love? First toss the economy into a wall, then wonder why growth is slower than a donkey in reverse. But let's be clear, inflation is only the tip of the iceberg, it's not some isolated issue. No, this is a ticking time bomb crafted by decades of flawed macroeconomic policies, fiscal overspending, underinvestment in productivity, and systemic inequality. European leaders seem to want all rewards without the repercussions of bad behavior, and now here we are, an economy with marginalized growth prospects, stagnating wages, and, wait for it, a mountain of debt. The ECB is now caught between aggressively cutting rates to revive growth and maintaining a skin-deep austerity to keep inflation at, drumroll, exactly 2%, like that metric defines economic vitality. Watch out people, because you can't cure structural economic decay with interest rate band-aids. Let's dive into this inevitable split, which is quite telling. We have the doves, wanting deeper cuts to stop throttling the economy, and the hawks, who are focused on inflation at any cost. Let's start with the doves. Italy's Fabio Panetta, God bless him, he's finally acknowledging that we've got low inflation and shrinking growth. He's pushing for deeper cuts. But wait, isn't that what should have been done months ago if we actually cared about consumers and workers? Meanwhile, we have François Villeroy de Galhau of France practically begging for some agility. He's warning about reducing rates too late, urging that 2% inflation shouldn't mean we keep the economy painfully restrictive. Well yes, François. The ECB has been tightening for so long that it's torn the European economy's muscles. So why isn't his perspective winning? And then there's Austria's Robert Holzmann. Look, I can't blame him entirely. He's worried inflation could bounce back, and we all know inflation isn't a beast to be tamed easily. But how about a balance? You can't smother an economy for fear of ghosts. What's the reality here? After all the fancy talk, inflation is, and I'll say it again, way down from its peak levels. Price pressures are clearly stabilizing, even falling. Hello disinflation trend, anyone? You'd think everyone would see that, with services inflation falling and closely watching supply pressures diminish. Instead, we're still stuck in a vicious debate. And economists from all corners, The Guardian, Financial Times, and even leading consulting firms like Deloitte's Q4 report are growing skeptical of long-term recovery prospects, with the ECB's foot hovering over the economy's jugular vein. Europeans across the board feel that pinch, that icy grip of tightening credit, falling consumer confidence, and employment just hanging on by a thread. European businesses are stagnating, service inflation may be falling, but that's hardly the silver bullet for general economic health. Look at Southern Europe, where supply chains are snarled, tourism isn't compensating, and millions depend on seasonal employment. What about this stagnant investment environment? Why in the world would investors throw money at an economy that feels trapped in austerity forever? Italy's real GDP is projected at slow sluggish growth through the end of 2024. Germany's growth forecasts, are you ready? Negative growth, ladies and gentlemen. Isn't that fantastic? We've somehow managed to deindustrialize the Eurozone's most robust manufacturing hub. Bravo! Meanwhile, unemployment hovers at 6.4% in 2023, which may seem low on the surface, but let's ask ourselves, are these quality jobs? Or are we talking about underpaid, vulnerable sectors with minimal job security? That's for you to guess, isn't it? And oh yeah, don't forget about our youth unemployment problem, which is skyrocketing to rates well beyond 13 to 15% in some EU nations. Are we telling them, it's okay, the ECB will save you? I don't think the young job seekers in Spain or Portugal are buying that tale anymore. On top of all this, the public debt in Europe, oh dear God, has ballooned to over 90% of GDP for the Eurozone as of the most recent IMF estimates. Are we going to get out of this debt trap simply by cutting interest rates a few more times? You tell me. Or are all these well-paid central bankers just hoping that a magical recovery will save Europe after they're retired, living somewhere tropical? Europe isn't even navigating these tricky waters alone. Enter global risks. Oh look, they're fun. We've got the uncertainty of Middle East instability, energy prices making energy-dependent Europe sweat bullets, and for good measure, the constant shadow of the *** US election circus ***, where potential trade wars threaten to collapse the delicate balance of international supply chains we still depend on. The ECB simply cannot rely on global externalities to fix their internal chaos. OPEC's next decision or China's real estate crisis does not change the fact that the Eurozone is massively uncompetitive, lacks innovation, and frankly, has become too bureaucratically bloated to function effectively. So why does the ECB's direction of travel feel more like a death spiral? Christine Lagarde says they are taking a sensible approach. Is it really sensible, Madame President, when a whole generation loses faith in the very system that's supposed to protect their livelihoods while politicians sit comfortably in Brussels, sipping wine, debating another quarter-point hike or cut? Necessary cuts should have happened months ago, before they burrowed into the rough granite of stagnation. So we reach the million-euro question: can we sustain this sluggish, decay-ridden Eurozone economy while maintaining this balancing act with monetary policy? Will deeper rate cuts save us from structural decay? Or is this just putting off tomorrow's recession until it's twice as bad? Stay tuned folks, because if history teaches us anything, it's that the ECB never misses a chance to snatch defeat from the jaws of potential recovery. Stay safe, look after your own finances because Europe's policy heads sure aren't looking out for you.